Chicos, ¿por qué estáis tan pesados?
Wow. Hello. So, the museum. I went to see the museum today. It was this one. There were not so many guides, there was only one guide. And yeah, we saw these trucks. That was a crane. These were like a couple of cars of the museum. This was a crane. They didn't let us do this, but they did open the car or something. I learned that this 080 number was set up in the 80s or something like this, if I recall correctly. Yeah. But then they changed it up to 112. It's interesting. Technical matters, apparently. This article is in this. Interesting. So yeah, basically I saw the museum. They had some cars, they had some trucks. They explained how the how the people work. Well, how they used to work and what the history of the firefighters in Madrid is, because they are like the city's firefighters. And yeah, there was like some context that I didn't know. For example, that it makes sense that the body of firefighters was very tied to like the people who built things. So back in the day, the people who were tasked to be firefighters were people who knew the buildings and like the people who made them and all these like workers and all that kind of thing. It made me think of some things like yeah, like the history of all the equipment. Yeah, because basically they toured around the place, and a lot of the explanations were about like the equipment and all this, right? So how they fought fire back in the day, and yeah, like before the 19th century and all that, they used to use kind of hand worked pumps, that kind of thing, and they were pulled by horses. And then in the 20th, in the 19th, 20th century, they became fully motorized. I think in 1920 something or something. And then he talked a little bit about the tracks and all this, but without a lot of detail. There was a lot of like how to behave in a fire type talk, and that was kind of a constant throughout, which makes sense, I guess. There was not a lot of detail about the in the guided visit. I mean, there were like written things, but I didn't read them all because I was kind of time constrained, I guess. I didn't want to get home too late. And yeah, it made me curious about number 080112. Let's say also curious about mostly sold, let's say right hand drive, because most cars were right hand drive, which was interesting because it's Madrid, right? So you would expect them to be left hand drive, and they were not that late. There were trucks from like the 50s and 60s that still were right hand drive. So I wonder when it became like fully standardized for those trucks to be right hand drive. There was a German girl that I think was from from a firefighting. It said you. Let's look her up.
Like, how much money do you make on Animate?
A day.
Like, how much money do you make on Animate?
A day?
Like, how much do you make on like a song that goes that viral?
Okay, let's say you benchmark at 500 million streams. And if you on 100% of the publishing side and 100% of the master side, $1.5 million just on the master side. On the publishing side, that would be another $400,000. So that would be $1.9 million.
Okay.
Off the basis of just having like 500 million streams. Top 15 radio across the world, another 100, 200K. If you go number one in America on pop radio, you're making like $1 million a week. And if you're like worldwide global radio, like number one song in the world, like $2 million, $4 million a week.
Like, how much money do you make on Animate?
Yo, I got derailed. I was talking about the firefighter museum, but I got derailed looking for something. I saw there was a German girl in the museum visit, and she had this backpack that said Jugendfeuerwehr, and then I think it said something like no 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 bad Essen, but maybe it was Essen bad no 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 or something. I'm pretty sure it was bad Essen, but it was like all together. It was like two words: Jugendfeuerwehr, space, and then the other thing. If I recall correctly, I didn't take any pictures or anything. That's what I was looking at now. And yeah, I listed a couple of things that made me curious, that I got curious about after the visit. The visit itself was, yeah, said this before, something like, yeah, it was very for children, I would say. There were, like, the focus was very much on, like, explaining it so the children found it, I guess, entertaining or whatever. But, I don't know, it wasn't super, super childish. So it wasn't that bad. And it was pretty long, like more than 1 hour and a half or something like this. Well, not more than, but like around an hour and 15 minutes or something. And then I was like wondering about myself alone, like for another 15 minutes maybe. And most of it was about the history of the firefighters in Madrid specifically. And even still, I learned like some things about, I guess, firefighting in general. And apparently it's like firefighting, it's very tied to construction, right? The people who constructed the buildings were the ones who were kind of tasked with firefighting. And the first firefighters were these kind of workers, like the workers who built the houses. And that's kind of the origin of it. And then he went around like explaining, like with a thread, so you could say, like with the actual things that people used back then, how they fought fire back in the day and all that. Things that were pulled by horses and that kind of thing, then motorized vehicles and all that. But even though there were like a lot of trucks and all of this, it's like there was not any in-depth look at anything like that, right? I feel like if you were to visit a current firefighting facility or whatever, in those places they tour the actual things that they use more deeply. I feel like it might have been Baden-Württemberg and Hessen, the things on the back. Baden-Württemberg, Hessen. How do you say backpack in German? Rucksack. Is this real? It was one of kind of these type of bags. It was red, obviously, and the text was pretty simple. It didn't have like this kind of bigger F, like a bigger F, or this kind of strange fonts or anything like that. It was a simple bag. I should have asked her maybe, but I don't know. I thought it was awkward. Hessische Jugendfeuerwehr. Wir in Europa. Europa. I've been here, I guess. I've been in Sigmaringen. Like the train passed through Sigmaringen. I think I've mentioned this before. Through Ebbingen. Through Tübingen. To visit my friend in Albstadt. Owen. Around here. My friend worked here. Anyways. So yeah, that was the museum basically. And oh, there is another one in Zaragoza, which is a city like 2 hours away from here. Maybe 1 hour by train. Madrid, Zaragoza. hour and a half by train, an hour and 20 minutes. The problem is that the train starts in Madrid, which is like an hour away from me. So if I were to go to the museum from my house, it would take me 4 hours in car. Okay, maybe, and 3 hours by public transport using this kind of high-speed rail. So, much to think about, I guess. Oh shit, 2 hours. But yeah, I learned about this, which was interesting. So I wanted to save it. Because he said, like the tourist guide said, that this was like more about the general history and more like more representing more the things in Spain or something like that. While the Madrid one was like very much about Madrid. And yeah, this Magirus brand is basically the one where all of the things were made, which was interesting. I know that now it is like Iveco's thing, but yeah, they used to be like Magirus Deutz, and then there were like Benz Magirus and all this. And apparently it wants to sell it now. Lol. Dumb. Oh, now it's CNH. Ah, it was formerly known as Deutz. Yeah, this is what it says in the first line in Spain, in Spanish. In 75, it's when it became part of Iveco. Interesting. Maybe that's why it's called Magirus or something. interesting. Oh no, it's because his surname was Magirus. Okay. It was interesting, I guess. But now I'm curious, like if you can visit the real one, like. Oh, March. Shit. Oh. Only kids can visit the fucking. Lol. Only for kids. Yeah, that was basically it. I don't know. I could look up the right-hand drive thing now. Let's see, copy. Let's see what Wikipedia says about right-hand drive. Background. Historically. Formerly a mix of left and right in various parts of the country. Spain is one of those countries. Italy is one of those countries. Germany drives on the right, but, for example, all the German trucks were right side, like right-hand drive, so. Yeah, horses are traditionally blah blah blah. This he mentioned this as well, because the German girl asked that. Let's see if the article is in Spanish or not. There were no national regulations until 1930. In some places, people drove on the right and some on the left. Madrid. In 1924, Madrid changed the. Lol, that's interesting. Bro. Oh, this is so ugly. So uglily OCR'd. Lol. There is an article in the Geneva Convention about road whatever. Road circulation. Lol. Thailand is particularly notorious, but 90% of the of the borders are with countries that drive on the other side of the road. American Virgin Islands drive on the left. Keep right. Law for driving in the United States. Russia, Netherlands, France, Italy, Portugal, Spain. Interesting. It also made me think, the visit to the firefighting thing made me think of like how tied is Magirus, the company, right? To states, right? Or to like public funding. Because basically all firefighters are, at least in Spain, are publicly funded, except maybe in the airport or something. Yeah, this is by AENA, but AENA is still a public company. Yeah. So all firefighters here are public sector. So that is a company that essentially is on the hand of a lot of governments, right? Let's ask ChatGPT. Let's see if it has something to say about it. I'm curious about how tied it is to public bodies. I'm from Spain and several firefighting corps are use Magirus equipment. So I assume a lot of countries that use it, like Germany, their staff also are using taxpayer money for it. Is that so? And what impact does that have on the company on a business sense? I don't know. Government contracts can provide stable and predictable revenue streams. Okay, so people like that. Government contracts often come with specific requirements standards that drives to continuously innovate, blah, blah, blah. Success in business can enhance influence on the market. Heavy reliance can make vulnerable to changes in government spending policies. Economic downturns or shifts in political priorities can impact funding for emergency services. Public procurement, Magirus needs to consistently, blah, blah, blah. Interesting reasoning, thanks. That does make sense. Do you have info on what countries it works with, or if it has a private branch or some kinda private firefighter or something like that? Industrial firefighting, such as chemical plants, oil refineries, and manufacturing facilities, often have their own firefighting, blah, blah, blah. Airports. These include both public and private airports. Spain's, I guess, are public, but maybe there are some private airports. Event management. Do you know of any concrete examples of the private ones? Like very concrete, like so and so airport, like I know for a fact so and so airport is privately run and uses their stuff, or so and so plant, chemical plant. Chambéry, Savoie, Mont Blanc Airport. Vinci airports. Concession holder and operator. Orbital engineering. Magirus. Lol. Feuerwehr. Drehleiter zu verkaufen. Feuerwehrzelle versteigert. No idea what this means. Oh. That's what versteigering means. Auctioning. Bruh. So annoying. Okay, I think for today, this is it. Don't have a lot more to say about firefighters. So yeah, thank you for being here and goodbye. I don't see. That's fine. I had a test today, so I'm a bit tired. Also, after my friend was there. Have some rest and yeah, goodbye. I'm going to wait until I get this solved because I don't. Ok, those airports do seem privately run, although the airports seem to need some kind of public contract too. But I don't see how those chem plants and industrial settings have firefighting teams from your links. Bas Ludwigshafen. Feuerwehr. Alle ablehnen. Toda esta página. Bruh. Why doesn't it work? Okay, this does look like a privately run. Holy fuck. BASF. Desautel. Okay, nice. The BASF example. Okay, now I am closing the thing. Thank you for being here and goodbye.